Alright, hey guys. So, I decided to talk about a little bit more about color. I was not going to talk about color in this past because I was going to focusing on just the sculpting. Um, but since a lot of people been asking, I decided to adding this color pass of the skin on the top of everything. So now the main goal for me will be doing a color path render in KeyShot, and we're gonna do some come together in Photoshop. So let's start it. Um, so right now, as you guys can see, this is what we have. And the point of this again is for 3D print. That's why a lot of hair that I didn't really go in and break up more and more detail because too much detail you just can't 3D print it. Um, so right now I want to talk about color. So basically how I do color in professional and personal is all kind of the same. I use photo information and I do some poly paint after. So photo information, it just gives me a base to start with. Alright, so I'm gonna show you the process of how do I do skins, but also at the same time I'm gonna show you like um, kind of what I consider a layer. So for example, this is very important in um, professional um, like work, just because everything you need to be able to separate to different layers. So you can turn it off or on or adding stuff later. That's very important in professional industry, especially in games. And your file needs to be clean so the people that maybe they will take over after you can continue using your Photoshop files, just continue working on it. So I kind of get used to everything separate by layers. Too bad ZBrush doesn't support that just yet. I believe they will definitely get some improvement pretty soon, but I'm just guessing because that's a lot of um, I mean that's one of the reasons that a lot of people in the studio using ZBrush for sculpting and poly paint. They don't really use poly paint. They use Mudbox to do texturing or Photoshop, just because the layer system in Mudbox is a bit better at this stage right now. All right, so let's get into how to start this. So when I started, if it's a personal project, I would just go to 3dsK. You guys all know 3dsK, and I will basically find a skin color, age that is similar to the person that I'm sculpting, the character that I'm sculpting. In this case, since I already told you guys that I have a friend who is Alicia. She's my model, so I basically just ask her to take some photos of herself. But when you do that, of course, you need to ask your model if you have one, or 2DXA it's the best because it's consistent, basically evenly lighting. Let's find an example basically. Uh, okay, let's try to find an example. 3DSK. Okay, so references. Alright, so a good example will be you can just go in and type your age. Right now, let's say 20 to 30, gender, woman, uh, race, weight, body part. That doesn't matter. So you just go search, and there you go. So all this. So when I see this kind of references, it's not a flat lighting, right? So it's basically a strong light over here and kind of ring light over here. Then when I get this kind of reference, but if I think the skin and everything, it's exactly what I need, I basically when I'm texturing, I'm just gonna um, just do symmetry. So I'm just gonna use my right side, her left side, and then symmetry to um, the other side, so I can get. And this is just for the base. It's not gonna be just like that. So my point is, there's a lot of options just coming up. Um, all right, so my point is you can find a lot of good references over here. All right, so in my case, what I'm doing, um, I have all I need over here basically, and this is the original photo that she take for me, which is pretty good. But in my opinion, I always, if I don't think the color is exactly what I wanted, I always just go to Photoshop. And let's go to Photoshop, and I show you what I did basically. Alright. So Photoshop, this is what I did. Right. So this is original. I usually just make a copy and do a levels change. First of all, I will play with this. When you play with this, you kind of will get a little bit more flat image, which is exactly what you want. You don't want a lot of shadow, a lot of contrast. I don't want that. So similar to that. And if you think it's still too bright, you can do this to make it even brighter, right? So this is kind of what I'm doing, right? And the result, it's over here. Of course, it's not like perfect, but this is just a give us a good base. And I have different views as well. So after I got the information, at least basically you need to get um, preferably five. One straight front, one side, one two three quarter, and two side. I mean right side and left side. So alright, so what I'm getting, as you guys can see right now in texture, right? So just import your texture basically. So after I import it, I'll get this over here, and those five are what I'm using. Um, okay, so basically what you do is you click your image, you add to spotlight, right? Since I already have spotlight, let me just clear this out and show you guys again. Okay, so now I don't have anything in spotlight, so I just click this and add to spotlight. Click, add, click, add, click, add. Alright, so how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4, so I have one short. Weird. So where is I don't know where's the other right side, but let me just import this again. Wait a second. Is it this one? No. Don't worry about that. I mean, we can make something work, I'm sure. So, let me think. Let's just do it. I mean, this will be quick. So, texture. What's going on? Oh, zebra just crashed. Alright. Let me reopen it. Okay, we are back. So, we're talking about texture. So now I basically just re-import this 5 pictures, and again, you click one, add, one, add, one, add, one, add. So 5 pictures, alright? Alright, so click like backs off, and if you guys don't know what's this is basically a spotlight, and able to use for you to use photos or anything that you want, basically that is a JPEG, and you can color on the top. You can even do um, kind of sculpting. So anyway, so basically there's only few buttons I use here. All right, so um, I usually use tile unified. So when I do tile unified, it will just do this. You kind of evenly place on my left side. So if I want to click anything, I just click it, and then I can move it, right? So now you guys know, just simple thing. If you click inside of the orange circle, this like the control is just move around with you. So I usually give my orange circle to my right lower right corner to my photo, and just drag it and scale it, move something like this. Alright, so how do you use it? So you use Z. Z is basically get out of, that's a shortcut, alright? Z is basically get out of and get in of Spotlight. So Z, Z, alright? And but you guys, as you can see, it's really hard for you to do anything right now. But so, and Control Z to turn off Spotlight. No, not Control Z, Shift Z. Shift Z turn off, and Shift Z turn on. All right. So let me turn off first, because I want to show you guys basically how to do it. All this is pretty extra, right? The other thing that I want to talk to you guys is the poly counts. Right now, my whole body poly count, it's around 8 million. 8 million is very high already, and I'm not looking for doing a really high quality pass of a texture. So if I want that, alright, if I want that, I will basically separate the head, and then after I separate the head, I I will be able to maybe subdivide it even one more time, and it will give me enough resolution to do more high resolution textures. But at this um, uh, in this case, I don't need it. So basically, I just gonna directly texture on the top of this. All right. So that means we're gonna do body as well, which I still need to find some body images or references and all that, but it's okay. Um, so basically, it's like this, and Shift Z to get out. I like to use solo just because I don't want anything else on my way. so it's easier for me to see it. Alright, so Shift Z, get in, Z, bring up the control, scale. I usually start with nose. You don't have to find a view that exactly the same. No, you can basically do this separately. Alright, so let's see nose. Okay, this is kind of what we want. Nose over here. Alright, so Z, and then you can start painting. But I usually don't like to paint like this. Basically, I like to use spotlight radius. Basically, what does this do is give you a circle of radiation, like radius. So let's see. I usually do 45 around here, right? So that's it. So right now, when I hit Z, you give me a circle, and I can only preview that within that circle. And there's a radius around the circle. So this gives me a more easier control and just enable me to see basically anything that I want to see first. You can see this is all not aligned and stuff. Alright, so right now we're just focusing on the head, alright? But first, you guys should all know that if you hit C, you'll be able to get the color, right? It's like a color pick. If you hit C, so you can see right now it's like dark black, blue black. You can see I'm hitting C and I'm picking color on the texture, right? So normally I just pick a color that I think is good for skin, not too dark, not too light, around like this color maybe. All right, get out of spotlight, Shift Z, and the other thing I forgot to mention is, alright, so if you want to do this in layers, you need to create a layer that is just color. This is very, very important, alright? Because in ZBrush, it doesn't have a really clear system of to separate like poly paint in different layers. So if you have different information like poly paint in different layers, sometimes it will give you some trouble. You will lose some information. You have to repaint stuff and all that. So I kind of get used to it. All my color information, anything that have color, I do it in color layer. So this is very important, right? So I go to color layer. I set up layer, call the color. Come back. I already have the color pick over here, so I just basically go to color and fill object. Sometimes it doesn't work. For some, it doesn't work because RGB is not on. All right. That is weird. Anyway, it's fine. So when you're doing polypaint, remember RGB on, Z add off. Alright, so right now you can just paint it yourself and use a really big brush or something if this is not working. If that's not working, it's fine. So that makes me wonder if I have any color information in here. Okay, let's see. Alright, so you see that I'm poly painting. I'm doing this for, since I can't use symmetry because I sculpt this one without symmetry, right? Starting with the Z-sphere, so I really can't get symmetry, but it's okay. Alright, so you got this base shape done already. Now, base color, I'm sorry. Alright, so now Z to bring up, put it in the middle. I want to change my background to a lighter gray so I can kind of see. Alright, so again, nose. So that's where we want the nose, right? So hit Z again and start doing polyphenol. So when I, oops, oh, ZBrush just crashed again. That is weird. Well, okay, I have to do this again. I will be right back. ZBrush just crashed right here. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Hopefully ZBrush doesn't crash on me again, but alright, so we are around like here, right? Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Just the nose part first. Get spotlight radius. Z. RGB on. Now we can start painting. Alright. So here. Now when I'm doing this, it's best to use just skin material. That's why I have a shortcut over here. You know exactly what you're doing. Exactly. Okay. Here, here. Alright. I'll make this bigger. Now. Here. Eyes is around, right? Do the eyes. Eyebrow. Similar. Similar. Alright, so as you guys can see, I am basically separating, right? I'm separating all this stuff because we are not doing likeness. So basically you won't be one-to-one for sure. So right, that's what we have. The bottom should be a little bit bigger. And the chin area. Okay. And on the top is fine up to here. Make sure you have around like here. Bigger to around here. Alright, put it back using Tile Unified. Let's switch to another one. So just kind of pay attention to where are you doing it. So right now I'm just doing over here. And be careful for like the blend. I think here will be good. So blend around here. On the eyes area, put as close as you can. Right? You don't have to be 100% correct. You don't have to do that. Okay, so around that. And the year. Again, you're only looking for like approximate color. You're not trying to do everything. So as long as you have color and similar, we're okay for that. Alright. The other side. Alright, so it's close enough. But what I really want is here and here. So yeah. See, it's definitely close enough. Alright, so here, around here. It's because the angle was pretty different. So, yeah, so if we have that, we'll do it around like this. I do one like over here. Kind of blend this in. And push this to here. Blend this in. Okay. Great. Year. Got a better year. Let's see. around here. Okay. The other side. Okay. Alright. That's good. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now we kind of already, I mean, this is already there basically. So let's just starting painting basically. So if you go to flat color, it'll be you know exactly what you have. That's exactly. So when I'm doing this, I usually use my standard brush. I usually do color spreads, color spray, and I usually cut it off around like this or this. What does this do basically? So right now we really turn off um, spotlight, right? So right now if we painting, it would just be directly on the model. All right, so that was example. If I just color pick, right? Press C to color pick, and you can see what does this do. It's not only give you one color, but at the same time it give you um, like multiple color at the same time. And to me, that gave me a better variations. So when I'm saying this, so I think this is a little bit too much because we have shadow going around. I just go in, I'll just do that, and that will disappear, right? Same thing over here. This will disappear. So basically fixing all this, but when you have the brush setting, basically I'm showing you guys, you give you a very kind of natural blend between. So I don't want this. You can see I'm just press C and then I'm painting, and you can see some color over there. So I don't like that as well. Press C. I'm painting. I'm painting more like kind of pinkish color. See, that kind of color. So I'm just kind of painting on the top of it, especially around like the cheek part. You know, the color, it's pretty subtle, but all this will help of the end result. Okay. for this, I can give it a more kind of average color first, since we have some artifact here and there. And you can see like the shadow dark part that I don't want. And I'm just painting that off. At the same time, fixing things here and there basically. And depending on how much makeup do you want, you can paint this off as well. And since this is eyelashes, that basically we don't need it. So go in. Paint it off. There's some highlight over here that I don't want. So I'm going in, paint it off as well. Clean up like the eyes area. So under the chin, it can be a little bit darker, I don't mind. So I'm just color picking like a darker color, just a little bit darker, and paint on the top. And hopefully that we got a good blend. So I think that's a pretty good blend. So you see the line over here. Right, so I'm picking the middle color. So you can see the line. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm just picking this painting over here to be a little bit darker. Same as here. Color picking. Paint. It's kind of really depending on like the texture that you get and how much do you want on it and how much do you want to change it. And depending on that, that could decide how much work do you need to be done. But the most important thing is for the character to look the way that you want it to look natural. So for example, all this, I basically want it all to be gone, right? Yeah, all of them need to be gone. I'll deal with that a little bit later, and that's easy. So okay, so a good blend between the nose and the bottom of the nose. continue kind of cleaning up your shadow area around here. All this need to be gone. Shadow. And here can be a little bit darker, I don't mind. Okay. Alright, so here's good. Here's good. And let's do a cleanup of the year, but before that, I don't really want to lose any of this, right? So save. Save. And we still have stuff that we need to do. We need to add some color, we need to add the details, and we need to basically, because when we're doing photo projection, you know, it's not the totally on the top of my model. Do you see, like, especially here that I'm fixing, like, because I already changed the model, so my model is around here, right? That's my model. And fixing over here. Okay. And also the lip, the bottom lip. Okay. So basically you need to fit your model as well. Alright. Here, color pick. Do the colors. Here. Okay. That's similar enough. Okay. And the inside part. As I'm painting this line off, you can see a line over there. I don't want it. And I want this line to go down to here basically. Okay. And so this area, I don't want it to be that much shadow because I kind of changed the shape. So just using this color kind of, and you don't want that much shadow, so paint this off. It also kind of give you, like the brush, it give you more like a skin feeling compared to anything. Okay. And you're not worried about like the inside of the eyes and all that stuff. Okay. So the shadow, I kind of want to be really soft. You can see like the eyes, the nose that separate the plane. I want it to be softer. So yeah, a lot of changing, fixing, go to the model, um, and do color inside, just get it dark. It doesn't have to be black black. Get it dark. In there you can see I don't have a lot of resolution, so I don't want it to focusing on that too much. I just need to have some color basically. Alright, so right now we have that. We can do a little bit more, kind of painting this off. So I'm basically just color picking by like the color that I think will fit more, and then pan off the color. Sometimes when I do this, I will just get a solid color and paint on top again, because when I'm doing this, I'm kind of double the timing, because right now I'm using alphas. Basically, I'm using brush stroke kind of left behind the original color, which I don't want. So, but I don't mind. I want that kind of natural feeling skin. But on the contrast, I might have just leave some of the feeling of like the original hair color, which is black. And you just have to spot it and change it every time you see it, right? So I'm getting closer. I can see the line here, so I'm trying to get rid of the line. I can see like the color difference. I don't want that. If I need, I will paint over like the whole color, because it's not about like how much photo can you just basically keep, because you don't need that. I mean, you can do kind of photo filling by the stroke that you're doing right now, but you need a good balanced texture that will work on the lighting, work in the physical based lighting. So physical based lighting, one important thing is you need to try your best. Don't have any highlights in there, any shadows. Basically very important. So I'm trying to get rid of all the shadows that I see. Again, I don't mind like the molds and all that stuff. I think that's a cool detail. So I can, pick and choose which one do I want to keep. And also, normally I will definitely make this a separate map. But for this one, I think I'll just continue doing it. Pick the color that you want. Okay. And at the same time, I don't want the eyebrow to be that dark. I mean, her eyebrow's supposed to be, what's that color? Blonde, right? Supposed to be. But I think in my case, it's okay to make it just like this, but not too much. Right? Let's clean up around eyes area a little bit more. Again, we don't have a lot of resolution, so I'm not trying to go in and paint every detail. Just to where I think it'll be enough. Alright? That looks pretty good to me. Alright, so that's basically how I started color. At work, we definitely need to do a lot more, because at work we want that kind of stylized feeling, not just photo on the top. So a lot of time I need to repaint a lot of stuff. So all this color information, shadows, I want it to be gone. Yep. And right now I'm just painting here. Alright, so just adding some color. But the main thing that I'm showing you is the face. And once we add all the colors to the place, that will look much better. But so far, it's just the poly paint on the face. Okay, I can still see that line. So. Okay, that should be good. Alright, and some other trick that I'm using. Okay, so I still have things need to tweak in there, but I want to show you guys basically a trick that especially when I'm doing the skin. If I want the skin pore to feel more realistic or better, normally, of course, I told you this is not for a realistic skin pore sculpting. Basically, it's for a 3D print. That's why we have skin pore, but not very clear defined skin pore. Basically, what I do is I use masking and mask by cavity. So when you do that, the default setting is blur to intensity 100%. For depending on what kind of stuff that you want to do, it's just cavity map, right? So when you mask by cavity, you give me this, right? So basically, it's masking all the pore detail that I have. You can see, right, all the detail stuff. And what I do is I inverse the mask. When I inverse the mask, basically all this is your pore skin detail. And to show you guys what I'm doing, just use the brush. If you do this and clear out, you can see this is basically your skin pore detail. Alright, so this is the thing that I do. I go in, I pick a color that it's more natural, and so there's nothing, and I go in, depending on where do I want it, I paint on the top gently, and then in the end you'll get this kind of feeling. And right now I still don't happy about the color, so you have to choose a color that you like. I think you can do a little bit better. So inverse, get it over here. That's better. Okay. So people, depending on, like, I used to do this. I used to do, since we have color intensity, I make it to like 10%, and I just use fill color to fill the whole thing. But I don't like the result because I need to go in and fix all this, bigger and stuff. So right now I just paint it. I go in, I paint this, and I see the feeling that I like. Okay. On the nose. So the other benefit that when you do this way is basically you're painting it, but at the same time, wait a second, is it too light, too red? I don't mind over here, but here it's getting a bit too red, so I don't want that. I want it to be desaturated a little bit, so let's do this again. you got a better control in my opinion, and it gives it a more natural feeling just because not everything is so evenly placed, and you don't have to do everything, right? So I normally do more strong feeling around here. That's a bit too strong. So, just depending on what do you want. It's a bit too strong maybe. Yeah. Okay, I don't mind that. So that's the other trick that I'm doing to create realistic texture. Okay. Too strong. So I basically, when I do this, I do it in a separate layer. Alright. So I basically, this is what I do. When I finish my basically base color painting, I export it as a texture and I go in, I do this pass. So this pass is only the skin port, and in Photoshop I can change basically how much I want it. So too much, that's fine. Give it a more artistic feeling to me if you do it this way, just by hand. You can better control wherever you want it as well. So even though we know the sculpt doesn't have a lot of detail, but now basically when you go in, you can see more and more detail just on the color. Same thing for the lips. For the lips, it will be easier because I'm just gonna grab this color, make it a bit red, and then get this. Let's see if it's too much. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I always want to change that kind of, kind of dirty color, in my opinion, of. Yeah. So. So I basically fix a lot of my painting to give it more artistic feeling, in my opinion. Okay. You know what? We don't need this. I'm gonna paint this off. Like the inside. We don't want this. We don't need the eyes color. Okay. Great. Alright. So let's see the whole thing. So basically this is how I do skins, and I'm gonna do the arms, necks, the arms, a little bit fix the neck, and all that stuff. It should be pretty quick. Alright, let's continue. I don't mind the feeling actually, or okay, hi guys, let's continue. So we just did the color on the head. Now we're gonna do the color on the arms. But before that, I would like to do a really quick, just using alpha for the logo. So basically, I was searching the logo for Cami, and I found this Delta red beret logo for Cami. So I don't know for comic book if it's right or not, but I took that image and I put in Photoshop, change it here and there, increase the intensity and all that. So basically it looks like this, right? So I just use, this is how you create alpha, just black and white is fine. And just go to standard, use drag brush, change to drag, and then import alpha over here, and then just drag on the top. It's that easy. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. Okay, and it's not perfect, so I'm going in and smooth things out here and there. I don't care if it's not perfect, but if you want it perfect, just go into Photoshop and adjust the black and white to make it really black and really white. Basically, that's it. Alright, so they're basically the logo, and let's just add a little bit. No color, intensity. Okay. Yeah, so it's not completely in the middle, right? Well, if you care about that, do it again. For this personal project, I think that's good enough. And then just move on the top of it. So it's more evenly. Okay. Alright. That's it. So we can move on to the body part. Alright. Alright, so let's do the texture on the arms and the body. So for this will be easy or easier, because for the body, I'm not gonna use any photo references, because we don't need it. All right, so let's just get started. Color spray, the alpha, just color. Alright, go to skin so we can see exactly what we're doing. I'm gonna just color pick from, oops, I'm just color pick from the face basically, so it will stay the consistency. Alright. So basically for the body, you just need a little bit differences, right? Like the color differences, especially when we are going to render in Keyshot. It's a physical based lighting and rendering, so basically you don't want to put any shadows on the top of it or something, but you can add kind of color information, you know, here and there. So I'm just kind of adding the color. So if you go to flat color, you can know exactly what I'm doing. So I kind of don't like this color. I think it's a little bit too, let's see. Yeah. So I'm painting based on the anatomy. Like the crease part will be a little bit more, but I'm not adding like a ton of detail on the top. And if I am, I'm going to smooth it out for sure later. I just wanted to have a feeling that it's like, it's a color information on there. It's not just a flat texture. And at the same time, so I would suggest you for sure go to 3DSK as we were talking about. So I was trying to find these references, as you guys can see. At the same time, kind of looking at it, you know, like references over here, so I can know where do I need to put more color or color variation differences. I don't know. So just always looking at the reference when you do something. Alright, so let's keep doing it. A little bit deeper color over here, and more deeper color around here, which you won't be seeing basically. Yep. Alright, so notice that for the neck, if she is more toned, it will always be more reddish around like the neck area. So, but here I haven't finished, so I'm going to try to finish here. And I'm gonna add more color. Let's see, like, yeah, I'm gonna add more color on the top. Alright. And picking a color and keep adding. All this I want it to be darker a little bit, so people can kind of see she's kind of tanned. So you just kind of need to know where basically to put a color. Overall color, I want it to be darker, right? So I'm applying overall color. At the same time, I'm trying to add more color here and there. And I don't know if you guys notice, I'm trying to not cover everything so the brightest color can still be there. Okay. Elbow area will be always darker. Okay. Keep doing this. Okay. Alright, so at the same time, I was still trying to add more different color in there. So I'm gonna do a more red feeling. As you can see, more red, but subtle, you know. So basically just adding color variations on layers. I will be careful about using the red. Basically I'm adding this to make it feel a little bit more like skin and kind of tanned kind of feeling. Darker, more saturated, more desaturated, sorry. So here, be more uneven. About like that. Okay. So you guys can kind of see already the difference between texture and no texture. I'm going to add more color, but that's kind of how far that will go for like the detail. The other thing that I like to do basically it's do a deeper color. And put it in like the connected area basically. So the other thing I like to do, for example, let's see, I'll make it more saturated so you guys can see. So I'm adding more color over here. Alright. I won't do this for all the area, but I'm just want you guys to see. And I'm adding more red to give it like more tan kind of feeling, you know. Especially like around the shoulder area. And using more brown kind of color to blend it together. Okay, right? So I'm just doing this area, only this area. So sometimes I do this. I apply deeper color, and I go in. I use brighter color to kind of. It's not. It's just adding variations, you know. So something like that. And sometimes I go in. I will add lines like this. Of course, when I'm doing this, I don't want. I just do spray basically to kind of add like the skin direction feelings if I am doing a more detailed kind of texture painting. So you can kind of see it, right? Yeah, so, and I'm just doing more, basically make it darker and then using a bit lighter color to pop out some of the feeling that you want. So basically two different methods. One is just do an average color and then apply the darker color and lighter sometimes. So I like to kind of mix it. Right. Okay, so let's do a little bit more here. Here. Okay. But I still don't want the face to be, too kind of out of place. So I'm just adding some of the color back. So sometimes if I need to emphasize it, I would just kind of do a little bit detail here and there. Like here. Here. Oops. Okay, so that's the example of basically texturing, and I'm gonna keep tweaking so you guys can watch basically. So I'm gonna add a more white color. The other good thing that you can do actually is, I don't know if you guys know this, so when you are doing, let's say we talk about this surface detail, the noise, you can see, depending on the color blend that you want, you can go to 1, the 0 is nothing, so if you go to around like 0.5 or something, and then the noise you can pick, right? You can do a lot of paths on this one. You can do way smaller, something like this, and then you can select color that you want to blend with. So this will kind of automatically give you the feeling, but you don't want noise though, so just turn strength to 0. You just want color, right? So this will give you like a more toned kind of color, right? Color blend could be a little bit more. The noise scale can be bigger, something like this, right? So after you add this, you'll have a really good base to start with, basically. So I'm still deciding if I want to do this, and this will also basically kind of blend in the color map that you have already to make it more toned color, which I don't mind, Like if I go to flat color, I still can see that kind of feeling, so I'm good with it. It's just depending on how much do you want to add. If I do 0.3 maybe, we'll still keep a lot of detail. and give you at the same time give you a pretty solid base to start with. So I'm fine with this one. So normally I will when I apply this, I apply this as a layer exported out in Photoshop, so I can have a better control. But in this case, basically, we're deciding if we want to use it. Basically, if we want, we just need to start using. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Alright, so let's do this. Apply to mesh and see. Alright. So yes, this is what we have so far. And we only did over here, right? But the feeling it's already similar to like the face, which I like it. It's not too far away, too different. Alright, so we just need to continue and finish this one. The other thing is you don't have to apply like right away. So, I mean, okay, I think it's better to apply right away. Yeah, I think it's better. Alright, so let's just apply to mesh. And let me save first. And then we can continue working on the arms. So you guys know what I'm talking about. Like I don't do a lot of like detail painting here and there. I mean, there's still a few tricks that you can do, like exactly like the same thing that I was doing on using cavity to basically do more detail. But in this case, we don't want it. This is the feeling that I want, and we basically got this from just painting and using the surface detail. So let's just keep doing this. Alright. Alright, so I want to switch to color spread and give me a little bit more color control. Okay, I changed my mind. The reason being, this feeling is adding on the top of everything right now, right? So I would like to do, what I would like to do is, excuse me, what I would like to do is return this to this before apply. I'm gonna use this to continue painting to like the same level and use this to apply on the top of everything. I think that will make more sense. Otherwise, you won't get the consistency everywhere. If you guys know what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's just continue painting. But we already have a setting over here, so we don't need to worry about that. Right. Again, I'm just adding the layers and the colors, and then I will add color variations, just like we talked about. Okay, that's that color. I want to use a even more darker color. To enhance some of the darker part underneath. And also adding variations. That's a little bit too much. So for skin, just need to be very careful. That is it. So oops. If you really can poly paint, you know, as you guys can see, it's like you can make poly paint look so much like skin. And you can detail the hell out of it. But in this case, I don't need to. So I'm just kind of doing it, leaving some space here and there. And adding more color, more reddish color. Just to add color variations. So from time to time I will add, like blue or green as well, because you know all the veins and stuff is that kind of color. Okay. Okay, and let's see how it feels. Okay. So I kind of have that feeling after that. I'm just gonna use again a more bright color. Okay. And for the back, I want to be a bit more, but I want a more reddish color. Dark reddish in the back. And in the end, we'll basically add some like mold, you know, or beauty mark here and there. Okay. A little bit more over here. Here as well. Okay. Alright, since we have this already, I want to let's leave it in the end, basically. In the end, I basically want to do all the details, but let's just leave it in the end. So before we continue, what I would like to do is, because I find this really kind of annoying. What I mean annoying is by, you know, when I'm changing color, all this color is changing as well. So since we're coloring, basically, I want it to be at least the correct color first. So in order to do that, let's just go to find the references, alright? And the more correct, we'll just go online and let's try to find this reference. Okay. Huh, interesting. Alright, so green shirt. I'm basically doing it from here, which is the very original one. So let's try to do the color. I think similar to that. bit more desaturated. Okay. Alright, so remember, if we add a color, we add another layer called color and color fill object. Color fill object. Yep, sometimes it's just weird. So if this cannot work, I would just paint it. I mean, which is super easy as well. So I don't care. Alright. And we have red hat, and the armor and the gloves. Alright, so red, very red, a bit desaturated red. It's actually very red, so I don't know if I like this color, but whatever. We're trying to do color, right? So let's do this first. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so color. On the red fill object. Color fill object. Color fill object. A bit too bright. Okay, so let me just make it a little bit darker. Color, color, and here I have a feeling I need to save first. Okay. There. Okay. All this will be this color first. And then we got this, which can be this color. Alright. So another one. Ha! I'm glad I saved. Alright, let's continue doing this. I'm reopening ZBrush. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I basically did it really quick. So right now, at least we are at correct color, except this one. This will be gold color, right? Okay. Just a color. Let's see. Oops. Like that. I need to go super detail on that one because we're gonna. Oh, wait a second. This one we might be able to just do that. It's the best way to do this. Alright, let's try mask this out. Cavity, mask. Okay, so the mask is there. Anyway, let's just do this. I'm not sure that if we should do this because in Keyshot we can just apply a material that's basically gold. Right now we're basically adding yellow on top of the gold if we want to export in Keyshot eventually. So let's just do this very quick for presentation purpose. At least the color is basically represent the character that I'm working on. So let's just do it quick. Okay, it's fine. Okay, quick and dirty. So let's just do that. And now, at least when we change in color, we won't be able to see everything changing. And the hair. I almost forgot the hair. Alright, so the hair is blonde, right? So, but I don't want the hair to be way too blonde. Like, so let's see. This. How about this kind of color? Yeah. Okay. Color. Color. And this is red. Oops. Okay. Now we are done. Alright. So we basically did the arms here, the arms there. Now we're just gonna do legs as we do arm, and then we're gonna go in. We're gonna add the veins color. I'm gonna add some beauty marks or here and there molds maybe. So let's continue. Okay guys, so now we're gonna do legs, right? So this is what we have so far. I mean, all that is just solid color, that's fine. All I need variation is the body, So let's start, let's get started. So first, the same thing. I'm gonna grab the color from here. Okay. No, if this will be too boring for you guys. If yes, maybe some of you can just skip to, the next part because I'm just gonna do this. I mean, technically I can just, do it, and I mean, I already showed you guys before how to do it, so, but I just kind of want to record this real time, so you guys can kind of see when I'm doing it as well. So right now you can see all this texture, I'm just trying to get something in. Knee to the leg is always kind of dark to me, so there. And remember, this is just a first layer of colors, right? And we're gonna have different layer color on top as well. And I'll just get that kind of texture going. Okay. So it's already pretty different than this one, which doesn't have it yet. So Just basically keep doing it. Okay. Now, when you kind of added already, let's try to add more kind of reddish color. So more reddish color. Let's start with the knee. Knee's always pretty dark. Dark doesn't equals red, but right now I'm just kind of putting red color all around to give it the kind of muscle feeling. You know, I'm not doing all everywhere basically. I'm doing somewhere here, somewhere there to just give it kind of a hint of the color that is in like on the skin. It's all very subtle, but you know, subtlety is everything. Usually here, I want this to have more reddish skin kind of feeling. Okay. Okay. Knee. Alright. So we did this. Now it's, to me it's really similar to the top, but let's still add more. I want it to be like darker color like this. Darker color. Oops, we don't want that to happen. A little bit darker should be just fine. But we don't want it to have like a line there. Okay. Just a little bit here and there. Some color here. Okay. So it's actually pretty fast for me if we're doing this kind of render. So now if we add the noise that we were adding, it'd be something like this. And if we get close, you can see that kind of skin feelings information. Alright, so that's good. Now let's add veins. So before we do that, of course, I want to save. So we're very close. Alright, now it's done. Okay, let's do the veins first. But before we do veins, I want to kind of searching for reference and to kind of show you guys the color of the veins. So this one is pretty good. You can kind of see it's just a hint of color here and there. Alright, so I'm gonna try to do the same thing. Just a hint of color, not everywhere basically. So, and you also have the light side, which is around like more yellow, right? Like green yellow kind of tone color. Let me think. Kind of like that. If I do this, let's see, yeah, I mean it's not too far away. I think it's a bit too green, so I'm gonna turn this a little bit. Alright, so let's do this. So I'm gonna go in. I don't want to hit everything, right? When I go in, the pressure of the pen that I'm doing is sometimes looser, and it got more stronger when I think it shows more. So for example here, I got a little loose over here and more strength over here. So just a hint of this continuation to here. Alright. So I want to do everything first and then show you guys the whole thing. So